The deep ocean floor is a desert. For centuries, this has been our baseline assumption. A vast, cold, pressurized expanse of mud. Lifeless, uniform, and predictable. But what if that assumption is fundamentally wrong? The remote operating vehicle descends through the crushing black. Its mission is routine: survey an unmapped sector of a deep canyon, thousands of feet down. The forward-looking sonar shows a featureless plain. And then, there is color. A towering, ghostly white structure bursts into the ROV's lights. It is not mud. It is not rock. It is a reef teeming with life, where no reef should logically be. Spidery crabs move through pale coral branches. Fish, adapted to the eternal night, dart between intricate thickets. This is a complex, vibrant ecosystem that, until this second, did not exist in human knowledge. It is a thriving, hidden city built by living animals in the cold, dark abyss. Now, let's dive into the data and uncover the reality hidden in the deep. This moment of visual confirmation was not an accident. It was the final, critical step in a meticulous two-phase hunt. Discoveries like this rarely happen by chance. They are the result of systematically narrowing the search area from kilometers down to meters. The search didn't begin with an ROV. It began weeks earlier, with the research vessel high above on the surface. The ship moves in a precise grid pattern, a process known as mowing the lawn. From its hull, it sends pulses of sound into the deep, multi-beam sonar. These sound waves travel thousands of meters down, strike the seabed, and reflect back. By measuring the time and angle of their return, a computer builds a three-dimensional map. We are, quite literally, painting a picture of the abyss using sound. But sonar does not see coral. It does not see fish or crabs or life. It sees shape and it measures texture. And in this vast, uncharted canyon, the sonar data returned an anomaly. Surrounded by flat, soft, acoustically quiet mud, the data showed a cluster of mounds, hundreds of meters long and tens of meters high. Critically, the acoustic backscatter, the intensity of the returning echo, was high. This told us the target was harder than the surrounding silt. This is the modern workflow of deep-sea exploration, using remote acoustics to find the needle in the vast haystack of the abyss. This acoustic ghost was the target. The team now had a precise GPS coordinate. This is where we shift from mapping to validation. This is when we deploy the ROV. The vehicle descends, not wandering aimlessly, but flying with purpose toward that single data point. In the control room, the pilots navigate through the dark, their eyes on their own sonar display. They are flying blind, trusting the map. The tension is immense. The map suggests a structure, but it could just be a pile of dead rock. Then the vehicle's local sonar detects a mass looming from the darkness. The pilots slow their approach, increase the gain on the cameras, and turn on the primary lights. And in that moment, the abstract data point, a patch of high backscatter on a screen, becomes a tangible, living, ancient ecosystem. This confirmation is everything. It's how we differentiate a geological feature from a biological one. It's the essential ground truthing that turns a digital anomaly into a biological discovery. Without that first acoustic hint, the ROV would have missed it entirely. This thriving reef, which may be thousands of years old, would have remained unknown, lost in the dark. So what exactly is this place? The first and most important realization is a paradox. This is a coral reef, but it exists in a world without sunlight. This single fact forces us to discard our entire understanding of what a coral is. Your mind pictures warm, shallow, tropical reefs. Those ecosystems are powered by the sun. Their coral polyps host microscopic algae, the zooxanthellae. In a beautiful symbiosis, the algae photosynthesize, creating sugar to feed the coral in exchange for shelter. But down here, there is no sun. There is no photosynthesis. There are no zooxanthellae. This is an entirely different biological system. These are cold water corals, or azooxanthellate corals, literally without algae. This means that unlike their shallow water cousins, which are part plant, these deep-sea animals are 100% predator. The ROV's high-definition cameras zoom in. We can see the individual polyps, thousands of them, covering the branching white skeleton. Each polyp is a tiny anemone-like animal, armed with a ring of delicate tentacles. And these tentacles are extended out into the dark water, waiting. Waiting for what? They are waiting for food to arrive. We are witnessing a process that connects this deep, dark world directly to the sunlit world thousands of feet above. They are feeding on marine snow. This is the constant, gentle rain of organic detritus from the surface. Dead plankton, tiny crustacean molts, fecal pellets, and microbial waste. For the surface world, this is refuse. For the deep sea, This is the primary energy delivery system. Each polyp's tentacles are covered in microscopic stinging cells called nematocysts. When a particle of marine snow drifts by, the tentacles capture it, sting it, and pull it into a central mouth. This is how the reef survives, particle by particle, in the cold and the dark. This entire massive structure, this city seen on sonar, is built by these tiny animals capturing the ghosts of life from the world above. And this leads to the second critical difference: time. Energy is scarce in the deep. This means growth is agonizingly, almost geologically, slow. A tropical coral might grow several inches in a year. These cold water corals, like the primary species we see here, likely Desmophyllum pertusum, grow just millimeters per year. The ROV's manipulator arm, a delicate robotic hand, extends. Under careful guidance from the pilots, it snips a single small branch tip for genetic analysis. This sample is vital. But the true marvel is the structure itself. Because this growth is so slow, a reef mound like this, tens of meters high and hundreds of meters long, must be ancient. We are not looking at an ecosystem that is decades old. We are looking at a living biological monument that began growing thousands of years ago. The living polyps we see are just a thin, vibrant veneer on top of a massive, dense framework of their dead ancestors' skeletons. This is how the reef forms. New polyps bud asexually, growing on top of the old, reaching ever higher into the water column. And this ancient framework is the true secret to this discovery. The coral is the architect. In the vast, featureless expanse of the muddy abyssal plain, these corals create something that is vanishingly rare. They create three-dimensional complexity. They build an oasis, a high-rise apartment complex in the middle of a desert. And this structure is a magnet for all other life. We see it all around the ROV. Spidery king crabs climb the branches, using them as platforms to hunt. Intricate brittle stars, or ophiuroids, wrap their arms around the coral, filtering the water in a clear symbiotic partnership. Sponges and sea anemones anchor to the high points, getting out of the slow-moving water near the mud. They are all here for the same reason: the current and the food it brings. The reef itself can only exist where the current is just right. Strong enough to deliver a constant supply of marine snow. Strong enough to sweep the delicate polyps clean of smothering sediment. This is why the canyon location we identified from the sonar map is so perfect. The topography of the canyon walls funnels and accelerates the water. The corals have colonized this one specific Goldilocks zone. And in doing so, they have become a keystone. The structure they build provides the critical refuge, feeding ground, and most importantly, the nursery for countless other species. The cracks and crevices of the reef matrix, are filled with eggs. They are a safe haven for the young of deep-sea rockfish and grenadiers. This isn't just a discovery of a new coral colony. When we found this reef, we found a hidden engine of biodiversity, a vital, ancient, and incredibly slow-growing habitat that forms the foundation of an entire, complex food web. A food web we never knew existed. The existence of this single, thriving reef does more than just add a new data point to a map. It fundamentally challenges the map itself. For decades, our models of deep-sea biodiversity have been built on an assumption of scarcity. We treated the abyssal plain as a vast, homogeneous food desert, punctuated by rare, isolated oases like hydrothermal vents. This reef, however, is not a volcanic vent. It is not a methane seep. It is a biological structure built by animals in an area we previously would have classified as simple, low-energy mud. This discovery forces us to ask a profound and disruptive question. How many more of these hidden hotspots have we missed? The ocean covers 70% of our planet. And of the deep sea floor, everything below 200 meters, we have mapped less than 25% in high resolution. High resolution is the key. Standard satellite mapping, which gives us our familiar global maps, cannot see the seafloor. It can only guess at its shape by measuring gravity anomalies on the sea surface. A reef like the one we found is completely invisible to that technology. It only appears with sonar. The kind of ship-based high-frequency sonar that we used to find the initial target. And that kind of mapping is slow, expensive, and prioritized for specific shipping lanes or geologic surveys. Vast swaths of the deep sea have never been painted by these acoustic beams. This means our entire understanding of deep-sea biogeography, the distribution of life, is based on a profoundly incomplete data set. We now have tangible, visual proof that complex, ancient, biodiversity-rich ecosystems can exist in places our models predicted they shouldn't. This single reef suggests the deep ocean may be far lumpier and more complex than we ever believed. This has massive implications for how we calculate deep-sea biomass and biodiversity. These reefs, as we've seen, are engines. They are nurseries, refuges, and feeding grounds. If there are thousands of these undiscovered reefs, as this discovery suggests, then the total biodiversity of the deep ocean is drastically underestimated. This also changes ecosystem connectivity. We often wonder how species travel between isolated zones, like seamounts or canyons. How do populations avoid genetic bottlenecks over such vast distances? Perhaps they aren't as isolated as we thought. These hidden reefs could be the missing links, the biological stepping stones that connect known populations, facilitating gene flow across entire ocean basins. What we once saw as an impassable desert may in fact be a landscape dotted with uncharted oases. Each one of these hotspots could support a unique variation of life. The genetic sample we took from this one coral branch is now a critical piece of that puzzle. When we sequence its DNA, we can compare it to other known desmophyllum colonies. Is it closely related to a reef in a nearby canyon? Or has it been isolated for thousands of years, evolving on its own unique trajectory? Every discovery like this one rewrites the textbook, forcing us to reevaluate our most basic assumptions about where life can thrive and how. We are not just finding new life. We are finding new rules for life. This single, stunning discovery brings with it a profound sense of urgency. We have found a living monument. But its very nature, its ancient, slow-growing biology, is its greatest vulnerability. The reef structure, as we've seen, is the product of millennia. It cannot be replaced. It has no defense against the pressures of our modern industrial world. A single pass from a deep-sea bottom trawl would obliterate it in seconds, scattering thousands of years of growth. The entire complex ecosystem, the crabs, the fish, the nurseries would vanish. Even more subtle threats, like the steady march of ocean acidification, make it harder for these corals to build their calcium carbonate skeletons. The very foundation of this hidden city is at risk. The greatest unknown is no longer if these ecosystems exist, but where they are and how we can protect them. This is the new frontier. The data from this one ROV dive is now the seed for all future work. It provides an acoustic signature that scientists at institutes like MBARI and NOAA can now use to hunt for similar features worldwide. How many more are out there? What unique genetic adaptations are hidden in these isolated populations? What new species are waiting in the branches of reefs we have yet to find? These are the urgent, open questions this discovery demands we answer. And how much time do we have to find them before they are lost? This is the fundamental challenge of modern ocean exploration. We are in a race to discover and understand a world that is changing faster than we can even map it. The work is slow, it is meticulous, and it is vital. Because in this vast shared abyss, you cannot protect what you do not know exists.